Hey everybody, I am super crazy excited to get this video recorded and then posted. This video is actually one that has been on my list for a year, and it's actually been requested multiple times in the past year, and I put it off. Reason being is I've actually, I'll be honest, taken the last year off kind of from the clean and lean challenges. Reason being I was on hardcore clean and lean challenges for a couple of years. I lost 127 pounds, and I just kind of felt like I needed a break for two reasons. Number one, I needed a break because when you diet that hard, that long, you kind of get burned out. Number two, I wanted to make sure that the changes I'd made in my life were lifestyle changes and that the weight loss that I had lost was actually maintainable. And in this last year, I wanted to, number one, prove to myself and prove to everybody else that the weight loss that I had lost was maintainable, and that was very, very important to me, mostly because usually when I lost weight in the past, I would lose the weight but then gain it right back and run the yo-yo diet thing, and that was important to me to not do. And so I'm proud to say that I've been able to maintain my weight loss. I went down to 200 pounds. In this past year, I went down a little further and then kind of went back. I fluctuate about 6 pounds depending on whether I'm traveling. You know, when you travel, you always gain more weight. And then when I'm home and on a steady lifestyle, I tend to lose a little bit and come back. But I'm right around that 200-pound mark. And so that's where I'm at, and I've just kind of taken it easy this last year. I've obviously maintained healthy lifestyle, but taken it easy to make sure that, number one, lifestyle changes, but I needed a break. I needed a break. However, October 1st, I'm ready to get back in. I have, honestly, another 40 pounds to lose, and I'm looking forward to losing that and getting back to what I call my basically my playing weight. I used to play basketball, and in college I was about 165. I fluctuated between 155 and 165 depending on how toned I was, and I want to get back to that playing weight if possible. I obviously don't want to look too crazy, but that's my goal, and that's what I want to do on this next clean and lean challenge. The reason why I want to do it on this next clean and lean challenge is on December 7th. We're going to Playa Mita, and I want to look good to go to Playa Mita, so that is the goal, and I am looking really forward. Anybody that wants to join me, I love having a great team to, number one, be accountable to, but number two, to have fun with, because these clean and lean challenges are a lot of fun. There's a little bit of competition, there's a lot of fun, there's a little bit of banter back and forth. I truly love them, and so if anybody wants to join me on this next clean and lean challenge, I've got a really great team, but I would love to add anybody else to that team, and you will also love the results. One of my team members this last time lost almost 30 pounds. Her before and after pictures are insane. It's absolutely incredible. I love what she did. Anyway, so this video is basically how I do menu planning, and how I do that on a budget, how I stay on my clean and lean challenge, how I afford it, how I do it on a budget, and be able to maintain all of that. And so the reason why I've avoided it, obviously, because I haven't been serious clean and lean challenge in order to be able to show you the process. And so that's why I'm waiting until now. I'm actually prepping to go into the first couple of weeks of clean and lean challenge. And the reason why I'm prepping now is because I'm actually moving the first week of clean and lean challenge. So I want to make sure everything is in place. So I'm going to take you through two processes. My old process, which is still very, very relevant and very, very something that you could easily do. And then I'm going to show you my new process that I moved into. So let me show you. This is, I'm sure you've seen this probably 100 times. This is our booklet. The booklet for this next Clean and Lean Challenge has actually changed a little bit. I'm really excited for that, because we've got some new updates and some new help basically for our people. I'm really excited. But in all of our books, we have a checklist, and that checklist, if you're like me, My personality likes to have checklists, so I can see my progress. And so we have checklists, and on this checklist, basically it talks about kind of what you need every day to maintain health, number one, but also to maintain weight loss. So like we have our 8 glasses of water, and everybody knows you need to do that, but how many actually know you if you really get your 8 glasses of water in? And so we have 8 slots for that. You need 3 veggies a day and 3 fruits a day, or a total of 6. We also need 3 proteins a day, 3 healthy fats, and yes, there are actually healthy fats out there, and you need them for your body, and so on and so forth. So it goes through that whole process through this. And so what I did to start my menu planning is I use this as a base. So I know that as I go through my menu, I need to make sure that I have these servings somewhere through my menu. So the next process that I do is I go through my kitchen, my pantry, my cold storage, and I would write down all the food that I have in my house. Because what you want to do is you want to use up all of the inventory that you have within your home, so you rotate it out so it doesn't get too old. But also, if you're using what you have in your home, you're spending less at the store, and that's the ultimate goal, is to stay within budget and spend less. So you go through. This is my dry goods area. I've obviously I put them on different pages. It's the OCD chef in me that I put them on different pages. It's the inventory. You can put it all on one page. It does not matter, but it's the way I do it. I'm an odd duck. So let me give you a little bit of background on me. For those of you that this is the first video you ever seen, I over 3 years ago. In December, it's gonna be 4 years. Is that crazy or what? I went to the doctor. I was 327 pounds. Okay, my health was falling apart. I had type 2 diabetes so bad they were talking about insulin pumps to me. I wasn't controlling it properly. I was trying, but not doing very well at it. And I had a heart attack 2 years previous to that. It was very minor, but still a heart attack. I wasn't looking good. On top of that, I'm going to be honest with you, not only was my health falling apart, but my finances were falling apart. Previous to that, my husband at the time, we're divorced now, but my husband at the time had spent time in the hospital, a total of 4 months in the hospital, 10 days of that in an ICU unit. And then after that, in basically a rehabilitation center, learning how to live again. Ultimately, it was really bad. And financially, between medical bills, he wasn't working. I was out of work for a while so that I could take care of him. It wasn't pretty. I'm gonna just go. It wasn't pretty. So I had to figure out how I was going to clean my health up and do all of this all at the same time. So people tell me all the time I don't have the money to do this. What I had to come to the conclusion is I had to make an investment in myself. I had to make the decision to make an investment in me now so I could spend less later, because I was already spending money on my type 2 diabetes, a lot of it. I was already spending money on my heart. I was on a heart medication at the time. There were several things that I was spending money on that I knew that if I got my health in the right order, that I wouldn't have to spend money on. And so I made the conclusion that I was going to make an investment in myself and take care of myself, because if I did not do that, then I would not be around to take care of my husband, to take care of my family, and that wasn't acceptable to me. So I made an investment in myself and decided that I was going to do it as cheap as possible, and do it the right way, but do it the right way. I'll be honest, I put it on a credit card, flat out. I put it on a credit card. I also made the commitment to myself that I was going to budget and I was going to do everything that I could to cut the costs properly. And so one of the ways I could do that was menu planning and making sure I wasn't spending inappropriately in the wrong areas. So I planned appropriately. So I would go through and do this menu planning process initially. I do a different menu planning process now. At the time, I spent, between me and my husband, we spent $200 a month on food. And a lot of people, our eyes are, I'm sure you're getting big, like, oh my goodness, did you spend $200 a month on food? Because that is very little. Actually, it's the recommended amount that you spend on food nationally, but it's very hard. It takes work. Once you get used to it, it's not a big deal. It just becomes natural. But it does take work to get into that, and you have to do menu planning. So I use what I had on my shelves already, on top of buying things on sale and menu planning. I took the checklist that I just showed you, and I would break out my meals. I would make sure that there was a protein in every single meal. I would make sure that there is a fruit, at least 2 fruits and veggies. Sorry, scratch that. I would make sure there was a fruit and a veggie in every single meal. But what I also did was I would break those down, and I would have snacks in between. So we were eating smaller meals. And that also cut how much we were spending on food, because we weren't hungry all the time. Our bodies got used to eating these smaller meals and realized there was a food coming very quickly. And so it didn't need to eat as much. We also controlled portion size. I dare say the majority of my weight loss came because I was controlling portion size. I was eating a huge amount of food. I was a chef, number one, and so I had food around me all the time. But number two, when we sit down, I would order the 10-ounce steak when I went out to eat. That is a huge portion of protein. You don't need something that big. You should be eating more fruits and veggies and things like that. Fruits and veggies cost a lot less than a steak. And so figuring out the right portions and where to spend your money as well is huge. And that comes with time and experience. But that's what I would do, is I would sit down and I would plan my menus out. If you go through and figure out what recipes or what ingredients you have in your pantry, you can take and actually go to, there's several websites. Allrecipes.com was a huge one that I used, and you can type in an ingredient and it'll come up with recipes with that ingredient in, and then you can match other ingredients up with that recipe, which is really, really cool. Like for example, if we had ground beef, I would do tacos. If we didn't have a lot of times I would have pasta, and I would have stewed tomatoes, and I would have ground beef in the freezer. And so I would do spaghetti. We did a lot of spaghetti because that was what I had, and I didn't have to go to the store to get anything else, because I knew how to make spaghetti sauce out of a can of stewed tomatoes and some dried herbs in my dry storage. You figure out what you can make from scratch from home, and you can learn how to cut your grocery budget down drastically, and actually made some really good food. Like we would make grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato basil soup. Tomato basil soup came from a can of stewed tomatoes, dried basil, and some garlic. So you learn how to make food from what you have already in your home. And I think that the first month I didn't go shopping except for produce and milk, things that wouldn't keep. So you learn how to do that. You learn how to use what you already have. Then you get to a point, and my light keeps going off. You get to a point where it becomes fun. It becomes a game to see what you can use up and how long you can go, or how little your grocery shopping bill can be. And it becomes quite entertaining, and we did that at the time. A trick that I learned is I would go grocery shopping for, if you're really good, you can get 97% ground beef on sale, and the 97.3%. And then I would come home and I would have a batch of brown rice cooked. I would also do a batch of wheat berries. And if you don't know what wheat berries are, it's basically the whole wheat before anything has happened to it. What I would do is I would boil them up and plump them up, and they basically are very neutral flavor. They'll take on whatever you put them in. So you see them a lot in Asian cooking, and like rices and stuff like that. But I love them. They're high in fiber. They're really good for you. So I would put them in my ground beef, and like my meatballs, my meatloaf. They're a great filler. So what I would do with my ground beef is I would split it up. I would cook half of it off, and then I would keep half of it raw, and then I would mix it up 50%. So say I have 5 pounds, I would have 5 pounds of ground beef, 5 pounds of rice, 5 pounds of wheat berries. So I just made 5 pounds of meat into 15, I would mix all of that up together, and I would put half of it in the freezer raw, and I would cook the other half. Then if I had tacos, I would take one of the cooked bags out, mix taco seasoning up in it, and heat it up. And then I had my tacos already cooked. So just an idea there. If I had meatballs, I would take a bag of the raw out, and I would do them in 1 pound packages. I would measure them out into 1 pound Ziplocs, just so you know. I'd take one out, make them into my meatballs, or make it into my meatloaf, whatever it might be. But then it's out, and that's a way to extend it really cheaply. Ground beef, really cheaply, and it's the leaner ground beef. So just an idea there. Gosh, what else? This is going to be a really long video. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm losing my train of thought. Sorry. So ultimately, you use what you already have, and then you build up from there. The other option that you have is you can go through the sales and see what's on sale. Like if you know ground beef is on sale, or if you know a certain steak or pork chop or something's on sale, you can put those on and then go to your pantry and add what's in your pantry to that. I find that harder. I don't like to do that. I like to start with the pantry and then add in and go to the store and add in from the store. It seems to be cheaper that way. By doing the menu planning that way, I was spending, again, about $100 per person per month. It's a lot cheaper that way. You tend to rotate through your food a lot more. I'm going to tell you how I do it now. It is more expensive to do it this way, but I was finding that I was finding that my time was more valuable to me. I could spend my time doing more things. I am the kind of person that I was a chef, still am a chef, but at the time I was working as a chef, and by the time you deal with food all day, I didn't want to come home and deal with food again. I'll be honest. So I have to have everything prepped out, or I won't do it. I will just rather run to the fast food. I'll be honest. That's what I learned. I learned the hard way. There's several things the hard way about myself. So I have to plan things out. I have heard, I love Mombi happy planners. I have one for my menu planning. I have one for my everyday. So this is my menu planning, just so that you can see what I do. So my breakfast, I don't have written down. I always do my protein shake for my breakfast. These are my menus. My lunches are always packable, so that way if I leave or I need to travel, I have it down. And then I always leave my weekends open. If I have to travel on a Saturday, I will transfer one of the meals during the week to Saturday and have leftovers, but generally Saturday is my leftover day. And then Sunday is my prep day. And I generally am tasting so many things that I don't eat a lunch on Saturday, because I'm eating so much and tasting things and stuff like that. So that's kind of what that looks like. I've got several weeks planned out. But you want to make sure that it's written down. You want to take the guesswork out. Once you have the wonder of what I'm going to have for dinner, and that question, you're sunk. You go back to old habits. So make sure that you have it written down. And just always remember, if you have one bad week or one bad day, tomorrow's a new day, next week's a new week. Just start over, plain and simple. So the next one, I'm going to show you what I do now. I am not sponsored by this company. I wish I was, but I'm not sponsored. I was challenged to take their challenge, or to take their trial, and I did, and I loved them. And so that's why I use them. I'm not sponsored by them again, but I just actually love them. And so that's why I'm sharing this with you. So I'd heard for years on Dave Ramsey about emails and how wonderful they were and how it'll cut your budget and so on and so forth. And so I decided, I want to say a year and a half ago, to try them. I took a 2-week challenge, and I'll never go back. So this is what happens. They will email you. If you just do the dinner, you can do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or just breakfast and lunch, or just dinner, or whatever. But they'll email you for dinner 7 meals. And this is how it comes to you. But basically, the meal, I get the healthy quick meal. I find that the quick meals take about 30 minutes to put together. It gives you all of the nutrition facts. This is the ingredients. This is literally what it takes to put it together. Simple, easy. And then I still have my Sunday prep day. So as much as I can do on Sunday, I have done. And so it's all meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4 in my fridge. all done. I do all my shopping. I do my order on Saturday. I pick it up Saturday evening, and I do all of my prep on Sunday, so that it is all ready to go. My favorite part about eMeals is that, let me pull it out here, sorry, is that the shopping list is all done for you. There's a list over here of staple items that you should just kind of always have, but in case you don't have it, that way you can check it off and see if you have it or not. And then your entire menu, like everything that you need for your menu is over here. So you can go through your pantry and say, oh, I have 2 cans of tomatoes. Don't need that. I have bread already. Don't need that. Oh, I've already got butter in my fridge. Don't need that. Got chicken. Don't need that one too. So you can go down and make sure, and you can check in your inventory and see if you've already got these things to help save you money, which is awesome. So I still bulk shop. Even though I don't do the menu planning specifically, I still bulk shop. So if chicken goes on sale for $1.29 a pound, which is an excellent price for boneless, skinless chicken, I will pick up extra. I will pick up the big bulk, massive. Like if you watch, like say K-Slot sells, you can sometimes get it for 98 cents a pound. I will get the 40-pound box. I'm serious. And then I will cut it up and I will put it in single breaths and fill my freezer. If beef goes on sale for an outrageous price, I will do beef, and I will do it exactly the way I told you that I do it. I will also do some in hamburger patties, so I can do hamburger patties. I also watch for ground turkey. There's several things that I watch for. You'll get to a point where you cook enough meals, you know what you need. Tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, black beans, pinto beans, corn, things like that. You do enough of it so that you know what you should kind of always have on hand, and if you can get it on sale, you buy it. And so a lot of the stuff I already have. I'm noticing that on average I spend about $60 a week for 2 people. And so I am spending a little bit more than I would normally spend if I did the menu planning. But I had to, again, see how much is your time worth that it takes you to sit down, menu plan, shop ads, things like that, versus they email you, you go see if you have it, go pick it up, it's done. I found that my time was worth more. And so this is what I do. For dinner only, I think it's about $50. I get dinner and lunch, and it costs me $100 for the entire year, and it's done. So again, I'm not sponsored by them, but I love them, and that's what I do. If you have any questions, feel free to send me comments, comment down below. What is your greatest meal planning tip? Comment down below. If you have any specific questions on any of that, budgeting for it, meal planning, anything like that, you're more than welcome to DM me and we'll talk. I like direct questions and working with people very specifically. I try to keep most of my videos very open so that it can relate to multiple people. But if you have a very specific question and you don't want to put it in the comments, feel free to DM me. I love to talk to people. I love to talk, see and answer questions. So feel free to comment down below. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I'm just finally getting that going again and getting multiple videos up there. It took me a little bit to get videos transferred over and stuff like that from my old channel. So looking forward to adding more. Sorry this video is so long. It's just kind of, like I said, I like to talk. So you guys have a wonderful night. Again, comment down below. Let me know what your favorite menu planning trick and tip is. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.